Alright, so this is their second video on the Tamiya motorcycle project. This is the Tamiya Virago, I don't know, GS1100. I think that's what this is. Oh, well, you know what? I probably have it right here. XV1000. So anyway, that's the kit product, and I'm modifying it a little bit, and I'm making a custom bike. So as you can see, I'm omitting most of the seat, the backrest. I shortened the rear fender. We're going to omit entirely the front fender. So here's the forks and front wheel at this point. Anyway, so as I talked about in the first video, this project, I'm building this for my grandson who loves the color red. So that's why we're using pure red, Tamiya's pure red paint, along with the gloss aluminum on the motor, and then the natural chrome parts that came with the kit. Very nice chrome, comes with Tamiya models, and as you can see, the parts are all very clean as well. Look at that fender that I'm not using. So really nice, crisply and cleanly molded parts. Trademark of a Tamiya kit. This kit comes with 3 parts trees, one black, one chrome, and one in kind of a silver metallic gray, I guess. And actually, I guess there'd be 4 trees if you count the clear parts tree. That's this little one. But essentially just 3 trees, a couple of metric screws, and those are used on the swing arm. 2 short screws to attach the swing arm at the bottom to the frame. One long 20 millimeter screw for the front axle, and the second one, the other 20 millimeter screw, is to attach the forks to the bike, to the frame. And that's what this one is here. That's what that one's for. So just a few parts left here that I'm going to use: the mirrors, the hand grips, and throttle and clutch and front brake lever, the gauge cluster, and the front headlight. Won't be putting any turn signals on the bike. Again, it's a bobber. It's just a little custom street bike, and it's modeled after an image I found of a black version of this, all black, just as this one is going to be red. On that bike photograph, that all of what you see here that I've made red is black on that one. Okay, so just probably a few more hours of work. We'll be painting up some of the chrome parts here red. So that's the instrument cluster back parts, the headlight back fixture, the headlight mount, which I've cut down and removed the turn signals from. The handlebars will be red, and the top plate, front fork attachment plate, will be red. And that assembly will go on after the paint's dry. So we're going to put some primer on these, let that cure, and then we'll put the red over the primer. Find that it adheres, the paint adheres just fine to the chrome if it's primered. I don't expect the kit will last very long. Once the little guy gets a hold of it, it's just kind of I don't know. He wanted a red bike. I don't. For me, it's the build that I get anything out of, and then handing it to him and seeing his face. I'm sure he'll be excited to see an all red motorcycle that he can hold in his hands. Until it hits the ground. But as you can see, though, these kits are just beautiful. The parts, obviously, as I showed you, are well molded. The instructions are clear. The areas that I circle and cross off, I track as I attach parts to the bike, and then I circle areas that I have to come back to, or that I'm thinking of omitting entirely. So, and if I, have to circle back to something, usually it's because it doesn't fall within the paint schedule, and I have to, do some assembly and then go out and paint some things, and then maybe I might continue a few steps ahead while that paint dries for the previous step, and then see. So that's kind of what the green marks are on the paper. The shocks are assembled using springs that are provided, so it's not a molded rear shock, but the actual springs are steel springs that overlay the plastic parts. And the capture mechanism is pretty clever on these. You just push up and twist to one side on the spring captures, and they lock in. So it's pretty cool stuff. And anyway, I talk about the Tamiya motorcycles. Even if you're not a big motorcycle fanatic or whatever, but you are a builder of plastic kits, or any kind of model actually, do yourself a favor and get one of these kits. They're just incredibly well engineered. They're amazing. And there aren't really a whole lot of manufacturers. I don't think anybody really quite like Tamiya. But some of the other Revell Germany's made some strides. They've got some pretty nice stuff. There are Italy, some of the later kits. There's a couple, I guess, that are trying to catch up to this, but this is the gold standard, I think. At least insofar as these plastic kits that are relatively affordable. Right. So that's the bike progress at this point. You can see that motor is pretty nicely detailed, and I did use a little bit of gold paint here and there. Maybe you can pick that up. I don't know. Not a very good job on that. I didn't use a spray. I didn't want to buy a whole can of spray of gold paint that I'll never use again. So that's just brushed on, and I'll probably touch that up. I'll definitely have to touch that up. But anyway, so just a few colors is all you need. Once you determine your body color, I highly recommend the gloss aluminum for the motor cylinders and the engine block, and then just rely on the kit chrome to finish off the detail aspects of a Tamiya motorcycle engine. And then they provide the vinyl tubing for the lines, for the oil line, the brake and clutch lines and all that stuff. The spark plug lines. It's just a roll of black vinyl tubing that you can finish that off and attach that with. And they give you the measurements in that in millimeters, and they include a metric scale on the instruction sheet, so you're not lost if you don't have one. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, there it is. Metric scale that you can use to cut the tubing to the correct length. So they thought of, it's a self-contained kit. Even if you didn't paint anything, this was molded in black, so all the parts you see that are red would have been black. Most of the motor components were either molded in chrome or they were molded in that silver. Let's see if I can find that parts tree here. I'm tossing these as I come to them. This is the black tree, and yeah, this is the so you can see that's just like a silvery gray. I think all of the old monogram models kits were molded in that very color back in the day. So even if you didn't use paint at all on this, you'd still come away with you know, a pretty decent looking representation. But of course, adding the paint makes all the difference in the world. All right, so that's where our progress is. I'll do one more video when I get this thing wrapped up tomorrow, I think, and yeah, should turn out okay. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.